light of the recent hacking video, I figured I will make a follow-up specifically of how you can use hacking to literally try to kill every single person on the station versus kill a specific department or just cause general chaos. Of course, follow your server rules before you do any of this. Every server has different rules and different rulings on who can do what type of damage. So all you need to actually space the entire station at once is a screwdriver, a wire cutter, and a network configurator. I will mention error alarms can only have about 30 devices linked to them at a time. So if you want to link multiple devices, more than 30, which is if you're trying to space the whole station, you're going to need more than 30. So you need multiple network configs for every 30. So if you want to do 60 devices, get 2. If you want to do 90, get 3. If you want to do 30, get 1, or less than 30, of course, you only need 1. So first, we need to get access to an error alarm. Assuming you're not Atmos Tech, you can't access this normally. As seen in the previous video, you can just screwdriver it and wire cut it. And we need to get rid of the AI access wire and the access wire itself. So we're just going to snip randomly. I got unlucky and got the power wire immediately, but it does so little damage you could just passively heal it back. So now we can snip freely. We need to snip that. That's a network wire. We can keep that snipped. And we keep snipping. We got that one, but we want the AI gone. There we go. We could get rid of the log wire as well. And the last wire is a panic wire. We do not want to do that right now because we're going to be manually setting it to panic. Once you do that, you get a screwdriver it back. And once you have this set up, and before we get started, you're going to want to set your network config in list mode. Left click on the error alarm and clear it so we have easier time figuring out what we're listing exactly. Now, this is very simple. Let's say I just want to space this room right here. All you do is you left click on the air scrubber. You'll walk back to your air alarm, left click it, and then click add. And now that scrubber is added to it. And if you want to space the room, we can simply set it to panic. And that will start sucking out all of the air at once in this entire hallway because nothing is going to set off these fire alarms because in this specific case we kind of sabotaged the atmospherics here. We can see how fast and rapidly the pressure is dropping just from one scrubber set to panic. We could be even more creative about this. You also are going to want to turn off auto mode. If you want to make it less obvious that you're actually spacing everything, you can simply set your scrubbers to scrub all gases. That includes oxygen and nitrogen. Now we are actually still spacing the entire hallway all at once without actually any clear indication that it's in panic mode. So Atmos techs at first are definitely going to scratch their heads wondering why everything is getting spaced. So this makes it really, really hard to track down why a small area like this is getting messed with. Experienced Atmos techs, of course, are going to end up checking the error alarm and realizing, hey, something's off about this, but not even necessarily. They'd have to specifically go in the settings and realize that it's messed up. So you could be as creative as you possibly want here. To make a error alarm, say you want to build this type of thing in somewhere like maintenance, where you're going to have less people snooping around on it. By the way, network configs and error alarms have infinite range, so an error alarm across the entire station can affect a scrubber across the station. So if you want to build an error alarm, you don't really need much. You just need steel, low voltage cables, and a screwdriver and the error alarm electronics. I recommend that if you want to get more error alarms or move them to a better place, you just simply disassemble them. If you want to do this method, though, you are going to need insulated gloves and a crowbar. Well, you're probably just going to want a crowbar anyway. You pretty much always want a crowbar in this game. Real quick, to disassemble a error alarm, or at least just get the board out, you screwdriver it open, then you snip every wire, which I forgot to put on the insulated gloves. I'm really good at making videos, guys, I promise. So you snip every single wire with insulated gloves, so that's why you need the insulated gloves. Then you decide to crowbar the board out, and there you go. That's the error alarm electronics. Rebuilding, it's actually easier and faster than tearing them apart. So if you want to only do 30 scrubbers at a time, you only need one error alarm. Otherwise, 2 is pretty much going to do all the entire station. So let me just quickly showcase how this works. I have 60 scrubbers selected, so 30 on each, and just to double check and double show, yes, 30 scrubbers here. So what you do is you click on this error alarm, go to add, and then you take your other network config, go to another error alarm, and I should probably hack this one. Add that. And then for both of these, we can again set the panic or be creative with the scrubbers. Either way, the filtering wide does basically the same thing, but it's less obvious that something bad's happening. So we're going to click panic on all these scrubbers, make sure auto mode is turned off. And then on this error alarm, we're going to do the same thing, auto mode off, panic on, and the station is now suffering. In my experience with trying to do this, it seems like sometimes you have to reset the settings a few times in order to actually get it to save. I'm not entirely sure why. I think the other error alarms fight with it. But either way, if you just turn it off and on, It seemingly seems to work better this way. So as I'm flying around the station, you can see I wasn't exactly perfect in my scrubber selection, but majority of the station is indeed getting space. I did not get every scrubber. There's a lot of scrubbers. I just kind of flew around as a ghost, clicking on things, and we can see just how much stuff is getting spaced from a little bit of prep and setup. With more work and more effort, you can easily space every single part of the station. If I just look at the atmospheric alerts computer, look how much of the station is in the red. And most of these are public areas. Of course, I flew through some of them, but most of these areas you can get access to. All the public halls you can space, no problem. I could have went down towards arrivals. Don't sabotage arrivals itself, but you're practically killing the whole station if you go this hard. 41 error alarms report danger. This will make Atmos techs cry and probably cryo themselves after they see this much damage. Even if they go back to the error alarms themselves, they would have to locate the specific ones to fix this directly. However, I will show there are ways you can fix this in person. If you want to try to fix something like this yourself on the ground and say you don't have access to nearby error alarms, really the only thing you can do at this point to fix this is crowbar it up and then screwdriver the scrubber off. By the time you even react, the room's probably going to be spaced, but these scrubbers are basically going to be impossible to locate of which air alarms they're set to, especially if you like build them in maintenance. I'm sure there's other ways of dealing with it, but trying to deal with the mass spacing like this through scrubbers is really difficult. Again, I will only really recommend that you do something this crazy if you have Glorious Death, or if you're like a lone op, or if you're doing stealth ops and you want to have an upper hand when things go loud. I don't know. You could do a lot with this. You could basically set off a ticking time bomb, make demands. I don't know. It's really up to you, but this is just a small showcase of how crazy it can get. You could definitely get crazier than this, but this is basically the bare minimum, the entry point of how to do ship-wide destruction without the usual bombs and explosions. Thank you for watching.